So in today's webinar, I'll be going through this. Oops, sorry. Prepare a whole PowerPoint for you guys. So the title is How to Develop a Winning Content Strategy in 2022, a 5-step guide. Right. The reason why I find that this is very timely is the fact that we want to be reminded all the time as people who do SEO that Google evolves constantly, right? And every year, the advancement of how Google are, their technology and their AI and everything in between, they grow with a very fast rate, right? A rate in which we don't actually understand how fast they grow, right? If you imagine back in maybe just 8 years ago, you have 8 years ago, if you search a certain term, right, before Google introduced the 2021 infamous hummingbird update, if you search a certain term, Google will just return to you every single web page that contain that kind of phrase, right? But after 2022, Google introduced something called knowledge graph. And knowledge graph essentially is Google were able to build a map of different entities regarding a certain topic. So for example, now, after 2022, if you search, well, before 2022, if you search Steve Jobs, right, Google will actually just return every website that contain the phrase or the word or the name Steve Jobs. But after 2022, after Google introduced the knowledge graph in the algorithm, right, well, the methodology to kind of mapping their entity, if you search Steve Jobs, Google are now able to distinguish and show you data of entities that relate to that name. For example, MacBook, Apple, Tim Cook, John Ivey. So all of the entity that most closely relate to Steve Jobs will actually be showing on Google. That is a huge step, right? It's the step in which marked the beginning of how well Google start to understand language. So before, Google treat everything as a data point, right? And that's why backlinks in the beginning was considered to be sort of the kings of SEO, because Google measure everything based on data. They can't really go in and truly understand the context in which, or the meaning of the content in which you write. Yes, no more indoor plan, don't worry. The content in which you write. But slowly, Google are able to build their algorithm in a way that they are now understand the content of the things you write and what that content relate to what entity and what meaning behind what you try to say or write, or the meaning behind the user search intent. So all of that slowly sort of get into the new picture in which if you do SEO for more than 10 years, you will start seeing a huge decline of how much backlinks are now in the priority, right? At the end of the day, users is still king. And Google's job is always about finding out the right details or the right data or the right meaning to match with what users want, right? So that is Google's job. So as I was saying that by 2022, things are dramatically different now, right? Data points like backlinks or on page is still very important because that's one of the first major measure, but that's not the focus of Writer's Zen. So I'm not going to kind of go in depth into that. Backlinks are no longer as important, right? There's a lot of data that once was major sort of like pinnacle in SEO, any SEO content strategy, are no longer as relevant as it is nowadays. So the purpose of Writer's Zen since the beginning of our inception is always about finding that 20% of key data that really matter, and try to kind of present it in a simple, easy to use tool set so that everyone, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you're advanced SEO person or content writer, you can use our tool. Super easy. That's our goal. So that's why you go into the tool and you like, and that's one of the things in which I'm very proud of our team, because we were able to achieve exactly that. And so today, I want to share with you how to develop a winning content strategy in 2022 based on our experience so far in the last, I mean, 8 years of we were SEO agency before this, and in the last 2-3 years of building tool and start observing how Google has changed over the course of the last 1 or 2 years. And I will share with you some sort of principle in which we follow since the beginning of time, and it still remains true all the way until now. And I think all this principle could really help you sort of simplify your own workflow and simplify the way you perceive SEO. It shouldn't be that complicated. You know, I think everyone could really, if you view it the way, in almost like a fundamental point of view, you will see that if we do these few things right, there's a very high chance that you will still, or you are going to be able to win the SEO, your SEO game, right? So, one more thing, so today basically I'll be sharing about this for hopefully about an hour. You know, I have a tendency to go over, but hopefully I will try to keep it in an hour. It's a lot of knowledge, so please have a pen and pencil with a piece of paper and write this down. We do record this video session, so you will always be able to find it on our Facebook or our YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, please do. We keep almost everything, all the videos on that, right? And so with that, let's begin. Right, my name is Daniel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zen, and today's videos begins now. Okay, so the first step, let's talk about what Google is, right? What Google economy is, because you have to understand Google economy before you understand SEO game, right? You can't just go in there and you don't understand the game, right? You can't just so let's talk about Google. But before we go to Google, I'm going to go into this very briefly, a sort of principle in which I've mentioned in the previous webinar, but I'd like to really go back into it because as we progress, I have built in a bit of more of my thinking into this. And it's understand the supply and demand principle in Google economy and your role at SEO content writer in 2022. All right, and so the first is supply and demand. So as you all know, let me put this on present face. Okay. Oh, as you all know, I'm gonna smaller my face a bit here. Okay, so on a standard economy, right, you have three main elements. The first is demand, you have market, and then you have supply. So on the demand end, it's represented by the consumer or the users, whatever. Market would act as a platform, and supply, a company or individual has the product, service, or information that will match with the consumer demands. And the way that market propel forward, right, grow over the year is by its ability to match supply and demands together, right? Consumer has demand, supply has the product or service. They will try to match each other through the use of market, right? Demand, market, supply. So now that's in a standard economy, right? So the job of market is always about matching between supplier and demand. And the supply and demand, as they mesh together, continue to match, that's where the market continue to grow, right? The more needs are being fulfilled, that's how the market will continue to grow. So now let's look at Google's economy. Things are essentially the same. In here, you have demand are represented by users, right? The market is Google, and supply are all the websites that has product, service, or information that they want to show users that they can match. And if they are able to match and Google choose that your website is the right supplier, Google will put you on top of the SEO search engine. So users will actually voice their demand through the keywords that they search, right? If the user search for the word indoor plants, that's their demand. They want to know everything about indoor plants, either the knowledge about indoor plants, either how to grow indoor plants, either they want to sell indoor plants, they want to buy indoor plants. All of those knowledge, that's the demand, right? And the urgency or how high or low that demand is actually represented by the search volume. So if people search, if in a month there's 1 million people search for indoor plants, that is a very high demand keyword, and that's a very high demand things. So that's the first part you have to understand. The second part is the market. So the Google's job is to match this user's demand all the intents and everything about it to their appropriate suppliers, right? And on the supplier end is still websites, all right? And Google existence, they grow or they earn money or that based on the fact that they are able to match these two together, right? And because of their ability to match, that's why they are become the most trusted source of all search engines in the world. They are now taking over still above 95% of all searches. That's crazy domination, right? And that's Google's job. And website, that's you guys, right? If you're SEO, if you own a website, if you are a person who run an SEO team helping your clients, they have a website, this is you, right? And your job here as a supplier is two things. Okay. Your job as a supplier is to have to understand your stand. First, you have to know that you are the supplier, right? You in this economy, you are the supplier. So as a supplier, you have to do two things. The first is you have to understand your market. You have to know who you are dealing with. You have to know how the market has evolved all the time, right? What do they require? What are the requirements? What are the do and the don't? You know, what there are guidelines. If you want to function on the market, you have to know the guidelines, right? What make Google want to put one website over the other over on the search engine, right? And that's your job. That's the first things you have to do is actually not to understand your consumer, but you have to understand the market that you're operating in, right? The playground. You are a player, you have to understand the playground, the rules and do and don'ts and everything. And second thing, you have to understand, after you understand the market, then you move to understand your users, right? What are your what are their needs? What are their wants? What are their needs and want already be catered by some competitors? And can you compete in that niche, right? Can you compete in those things? So first, understand the market, then understand the readers, right? And so a lot of people get this wrong. When you start doing SEO, you right away and you jump in and you think, oh, I have to do keyword research. Keyword research are actually you are researching about your customer. The first thing you have to do is actually to research about your marketplace, which is Google. And so here I was actually have a slide for this, right? It's not keyword research is the first step I have to do in SEO campaign. That's a myth. The first thing you have to do is topic research. Because you have to understand what it is that your marketplace want. And they think that, you know, if you target a certain market keyword, let's say, okay, not indoor plants anymore, right? Nutrition plan, okay? If you target that nutrition plan, your market will require you with a certain standard. You know, what do you know about nutrition plan? Do you know about the diet plan? Do you know about nutrition plan for people who are athletes? Do you know a nutrition plan for people who have diabetes? Blah blah blah, all kind of stuff. The market will actually require this at least the basic requirements in terms of the topic that you can cover before you go into understanding, which is doing keyword research, which is understanding your consumer. So that's the first thing, right? So here, so this is actually the sort of like a pyramid workflow that we draw, and we break this down to these 5-step things. And the first 3 steps evolve about researching, right? If you do, like I said, in all our webinar from the beginning until now, if you do your research well, you already cover about 80% of your chance to win, right? And then the last 2 steps would be execution. So the first 3 steps, you have to do topic research. And that is to form topic and subtopics that show Google you are an expert. The second step, after you're done with that, is keyword research. That's when you figure out exactly what your consumer wants, how much your competition are facing. So what keyword should go into what phase of your content strategy. The third level is after you have all the keyword laid out under each of the topic that you have, you form the articles that you will write. Right? Determine what needs to be written and when. Because now that you have all the keyword, you will want to know when do you write certain keyword first and what keyword you should group together so you can optimize on the output of that article. After you're done with that part, you already have this really well clear and strategically mapping in your head that you already cover the market, which is Google, you cover your consumer, which is the keyword, and then you already have the article ready to roll, laid out in your sort of planning in your head. Then you go to execution. That's when you start writing all those articles, and you have to do, here's the very interesting part. That is where you have to balance between writing for Google bots and also writing for human. Because you can't simply just write for once and forget the other. If you write for the bots, you can rank, but you will quickly find out that Google will measure how much engagement the readers actually go in there in between your article, and you will soon see that your results are no longer sustainable. You have to write well. You have to write correctly, and you have to write well. So that's the execution. That was a very important part. The second is final review and publish. That's where you check for plagiarism checker, you check for all of the other structure, ABC, and then you go live with your content. All right, this is the 5-step. We kind of break it down to this pyramid. All right, so let's go into the first step. Topic research, not keyword research, should be your very first step of any content campaign. All right. So let's go to some very fundamental of what Google require from you, right? In 2018, Google introduced this factor called EAT. I'm sure if you do SEO or you do content strategy, you have heard about this, right? And it stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And this concept comes from Google's search quality rater guidelines, and it became well known after infamous Matrix update in August 2018. EAT is one factor Google uses to evaluate the overall quality of web page, right? And so if you look at this, I'm only going to focus on one factor, which is expertise, because that's what content is all about, right? Authoritativeness and trustworthiness. If you have a new website, you're not gonna get authority and you're not gonna get trustworthy. You have to build that over time. You have to build your trust over time. You have to build your network of linking, of backlinks, and your name be branded and social media, everything over time. But that's very much is called technical SEO. We're not gonna get into that today. Expertise is what you build with your content, right? The things that you write about, the knowledge that you share with your users, all the definition, all the content you show, that's determined in Google's eyes whether or not you are an expert, right? So, and it stands in the first step, EAT. It's not AET or it's not ATE, it's EAT. Expertise is the first thing, and it's at the highest priority of what Google looking for at any given website. And this is what gives chances for newer websites to even rank on certain for certain keyword, right? So you have expertise, and expertise essentially means that Google is asking you, are you an expert in the topic that you try to rank, right? And if you, in a standard economy, if you are an expert, let's talk about, let's say a fitness instructor, right? If he's an expert, you will know, you will expect him to not only have in-depth knowledge and experience about exercise and how to gain muscle, reduce fat, or what type of exercise, how to do certain kind of movement, how do you do things correctly, but you expect him to also have knowledge about all the other information like diet, daily routine, sleep schedule, the metabolism in your body. That's an expert. If he simply know about exercise, movement, do and don't, what kind of exercise you have to do at what hours, he's not yet considered an expert. An expert is one who have very in-depth knowledge, not only in the topic that is the focus, but also everything that related to that topic. Everything, right? And that is the definition of an expert. And the way Google measure your content, your website, it's the same way, right? And here's his statement. Google's definition of expert in a field may be vastly different from your definition. And your job is to find out exactly what it means to be an expert by Google standard and present to Google precisely that. And this is what I mean by market research. And you have to do this by going through this process called topic research. You have to research on Google. If you look for, let's say, nutrition plan, right? That's the keyword. Here, a website is considered an expert in Google SEO is when it covers all relevant in-depth topics that have high chances to rank on Google. All right, and so this is where you have heard about what we share in the last like 2 webinars called topic cluster, right? And the way we build this is essentially based on exactly that. We figure that if a keyword you search on Google, and Google will show you like 100 different results, right? And all of that result being shown on Google are the result in which Google think the user who search for that keyword should know. Let's say you search for keyword, let's say nutrition plan. Google will return result to you if you read all 100 URLs, you'll find out that Google doesn't just simply show the knowledge of nutrition plan itself, but Google will show you a bunch of different subtopics like diet plan for people who has diabetes, diet plan for people who want to gain lean muscle, diet plan that is good for your heart, diet plan that is good for your health, diet plan that is good for your inflammatory. So Google will actually show you a bunch of different topics in which they think that if any user search for this keyword, they should know about. So that exactly is how we build our tool called topic discovery, right? Essentially, the whole webinar today is just to explain for you the mechanism behind the way we do what we did and why we believe it really helped your workflow. So topic discovery does exactly that. So if you search a keyword, let's say nutrition plan, what we do is that we go into here. Let's do a live example. All right, we have say nutrition plan. Right, and then you have all these 100 different results, right? And generally, if you do this manually, you have to go through each of these websites and try to extract out all of different topics that Google mentioned. Google will show you that they rank. It just if Google let that topic rank, it essentially means that this is the topic in which they want you to know. They want you to read about. So the way topic discovery does is that our bots will actually go into every single website on the top 100. We scan through all of their content. We use our NLP, natural language processing algorithm to extract down every single topic that was mentioned and that are being ranked by all of your competitors here. And that way you don't have to actually go through them manually one by one. So the moment you start seeing all the topic layout in front of you, you realize that, okay, if you want to do SEO for the keyword nutrition plan, you simply just need to write all of this subtopic. If you cover all the subtopic that are presented in here, very high chance that once the bot of Google go into your content, they will be able to kind of see all your sitemap, right? Go through your internal linking system, blah, 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 between all of each article. Like, for example, they go into the main article, they see the nutrition plan, and in that article, they realize that, oh, wow, this guy, not only he talked about nutrition plan. Okay, let's go into the tool so we can show you a bit better. Okay, here. Oh, wow, not only he talk about nutrition plan, they talk about nutrition plan for diabetes. They talk about plants nutrition plan, plant-based. He talk about nutrition plan that help healthy skin, reduce belly fat, pack abs. All the diet plan. Oh, they also offer nutrition plan that are printable for people, right? Inflammatory diet plan. See, endomorph diet plan. So all this, I don't know what this is, but you see the tool return to you. I'm not an expert in nutrition plan, but through one click, now I know if I would be an expert, what should I know about? I should know about all this subtopic. And if I can cover all this subtopic in details, very high chance that I will be able to get a lot of traffic that go into here. See, we have to go back to the root. This is why I say researching, it's so important for your planning. Don't simply rush into write anything, right? All the tools out there right now, nowadays, they just give you this instant satisfaction, thinking that you can write things so fast with AI. But if you write things without proper planning, that well structured before that, you may win a few keywords, but you're not gonna win them for long. They're not gonna last, right? But if you build everything in very proper structure, if you can fail one keyword, you're still gonna have all the other keyword kind of there lay out for you, right? So the first step is to build a topic cluster, right? And the topic cluster is where, let's say you have to build your pillar content. Let's say it's nutrition plan, that is your pillar content. And then you have to build cluster content, and that is all the subtopic that support this pillar content, and trying to show Google that, hey, I am the expert that you're looking for, right? And usually pillar content is your niche. It's the very hard keyword that you're gonna find is so impossible to write, but you have to write it. You have to write this long article that cover all your subtopic and basically say to Google that, hey, I know this subject. Google may not rank that keyword, but it's very necessary to have that pillar content to kind of stamp there and show Google that, hey, I'm the expert. Why? Because I know about this topic and I know about every subtopic that regarding to this, right? And you may not be able to rank the pillar topic, but you will be able to rank all the subtopic because Google bots are so smart, okay? They know. This is how you actually show that you are expert, and then eventually you will show that you are trustworthy and you have the authority over this, and you are, well, trustworthy and authority. So you are EAT covered, right? Because you cover everything that required by Google. Simply going through the source, simply going from the result backward. And that's exactly why we build topic discovery. So all that manual work, imagine you have to go through all that 100% website, 100 website. I don't think you have the patience nor the time to go through that. But we did all that, right? And so once you kind of build this, you start to form your own, let's say, usually I would probably do by search volume, and then I'll probably pick some of the very kind of high volume topic, and I'll say, okay, all this high volume should be one of some of the subtopic that I should put some focus on. Cardiac diet plan, look like a lot of people search for. Workout meal plan, that's very good. Macro meal plan, really good. I'm gonna build all these subtopics surrounding my main pillar topic, which is nutrition plan, right? And slowly I just kind of build one by one below. So if you have less resources, if you're new, you can slowly build this one by one. You can start with diabetic meal plan. You have to. And so once you're done with that, you will have something that looks like this. Let me see again. Something look like this, right? Pillar page, internal linking to subtopic 1, subtopic 2, subtopic 3. More, expanding. I mean, it's the design is just to show you. You can have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 subtopic. The more subtopic you can cover, the better and higher the chance that you are showing Google, or Google will actually see that you are the expert in the field. All right. So as you can see, I kind of show it in here, right? High relevance, low volume. This one I think my staff put it wrong. Essentially, you kind of look for all of those kind of subtopic that have higher search volume, higher demand, and you kind of build that pillar page. I suggest you draw this out in a piece of paper and you start kind of build almost like a map down. So you have pillar page. In this case, it would be nutrition plan. I think we have here. So in this case, pillar page, nutrition plan. That is your main topic that you're fighting for. Subtopic would slowly be lean muscle, inflammatory diet plan, cardiac diet plan, so on and so forth. Right? A lot of things you can build on it. So once you're done with this, your map start to have a mapping in your head of what are the topic you are tackling. So you don't go blindly into researching your keyword research. And that is done. Once that's done, now you start moving. This part means what? It means that you are now understand very clearly Google your market, your Google standard, right? Your Google requirements. So once you're done with Google requirements, let's go into the next step, which is keyword research, right? And the keyword research essentially is your consumer research. It's essentially by you have to you want to research about what your users actually need, what their pain point, what they want, you know, and so the way we build this is called develop golden keyword strategy that fulfill user demand. Okay, this step I have a couple updates, right? The first thing is when we first build golden filter, we want to kind of build a tool that helps people filter out long tail keyword very quickly. Long tail keyword that have high demand and low competition very quickly. But we realize that that is correct, but it's definitely not enough. In fact, that is far from the whole SEO strategy that you can use. So I mean, our team put a lot of thoughts into this, and we developed something called Zen Matrix, because we realized that every single keywords that you found have a certain values, a different phase of your content strategy, a different time, and a different level of resources of your content strategy, right? And what we did is we developed this thing called Zen Matrix, right? And why Zen Matrix? Essentially what we did is, if you come back to the first picture, the supply and demand picture in the Google economy, you know that on the demand side, things are very clear. You have the demand is defined by the keyword that user search, and how high or low of that demand is determined by the search volume of that keyword, right? And you can find this very easily. So with that determined, you know the data is very clear, but things are not very clear on the supply end. You don't really know for these certain demands how many suppliers are there, how many websites are trying to compete to that keyword, right? There are no data whatsoever into that, and that's what we came up with Untitled. And we figured that, you know what, if I'm the website, I'm trying to target a certain keywords, the first thing I do, you know, logically, is to put that keyword into my title. That's it. It's so simple. It's the most fundamental things that any website, if you want to target for any keyword, you want to do that, because that's the first thing Google will actually scan through, and it's on high priority of Google to think that, okay, this keyword is this website are trying to rank for this certain keywords. So that's how we came up with Untitled, and that's why we determined to try and figure out a way to kind of scan Untitled in bulk volume. So now you have two-dimensional of each side of the equation. On the demand side, you have search volume, which represent how high or low. On the supplier side, you have Untitled, which also represent how high the competition or how low the competition, right? And so with that, we draw something sort of look like this. Wait, I'm gonna scan through this because I just talked about this. All right, so we draw like this map. So on the x-axis is the demand axis, and it breaks down to two parts, low and high, and the line here is search volume, represent the search volume. And on the y-axis is supplier end, and it's also break down to two parts, low and high, and is represented by the Untitled number, right? So below, search volume number, upper on the top, it's Untitled number, as you can see here. Let's click present. All right, and this break this map into 4 different zones, right? All right, and so this 4 different zones, and I break them into 4 different zones. The first zone is I call it decay zone. And what is decay zone? What is decay zone is that it has very low demand, which is keyword, very low search volume, but they have very high Untitled. What does it mean? It means that these are all the keywords that have a lot of competition, but actually have very low demand, right? And so low demands mean what? These are the keywords that once were very competitive keywords. Once was very high demand. Let's say PlayStation 2020, That was at some point, I think in July 2020, was the highest demand sort of keyword, right? Everyone are sort of looking for the keywords, and so the demand at that point was very high. But the competition, the competition at that moment is so go really high. But after 2020, that keyword is no longer in trend. So the keyword are now on the other side of the hill and it's called in decay. And in this decay zone is where there's so many competitors trying to rank for that keyword, but they're very low in demand, and you do not want to enter this zone, right? Lots of website targeting, yet many people search for them. They are once trendy keyword with high demand, which causes search in website trying to compete, but they are no longer trending. Volume search gradually drop, leaving high competition but low demand. Please avoid this zone at all costs. Not advisable for any type of planning. So if you find any of these keywords, don't put any effort into investing them. They are worthless, right? The second zone is mature zone. Mature zone is where it's the keyword that have very high demand, very high search volume, but also very high ON title. These are the keywords that consistently perform over the time. It will always be keyword that are usually it's your pillar keyword, right? It's the keyword that always have demand. Let's say nutrition plan, web design, for example. Web design, you have, or you can do soccer tournament. So things that constantly in high demand. So they're always high demand and always high supply. So these are very important zone for your planning content strategy, right? If you're new, it's important for you to target this keyword, but not put so much effort into it, because the competition is simply just too high. But you have to show Google that, hey, I know what I'm talking about when I talk about mature zone. I will have my title into it, but I'm not trying to compete to it just yet, right? So, and if you are a team that you already have sort of established team member, you have a lot of resource at hand, you have a lot of sort of experience in doing SEO, you definitely can target keyword in this zone as well. So don't feel like, oh man, I have to look for keyword that is high in search volume but low in ON title. No, there's certain keyword in this zone are very important for your SEO content strategy, right? As I share in here, mature keyword is the keyword with consistently high demand from users, and therefore lots of websites are trying to rank for those. They are usually shorter length keyword, 1 or 3 words at length. Select keyword in this zone with caution because it requires more resources and investment to rank. However, the upside is consistent flow of organic growth, and these are very good keyword for all your long-term planning. Don't think that you will go and then you will be able to rank this keyword in like 3 to 4 months, right? You always keep in mind that these are the keywords that are very hard to rank, but they're worth your investment in the long run, right? And so this is mature zone. And then opportunity zone. Opportunity zone is where you have keywords that are low in search volume, but also low in ON title. And these are the keywords that sort of like newly established, right? By 2017, Google was sharing a fact that every day there's about 15% of their searches are new, the never before searches. That's a very crazy high number, right? And so if you imagine that amount of search new that kind of showing a day, so this is the zone where you will find those kind of keywords. This is a keyword that just newly established as in Google database as new demand. People kind of just come up with those, and there's a very few websites fulfilling those keywords. And this keyword is very good for your for if you are first start out, right? If you're a new website, you should play around with this keyword a lot. Invest your money into kind of growing this in building your SEO content throughout this keyword, because in this zone you will be able to rank quite quickly, quite fast, because not a lot of competition, and Google actually look for websites that can fulfill this kind of demand. You're not going to be able to get a lot of traffic out of each keyword, but you will be able to if you spread your strategy out as much and as fast as possible. For example, you find 1,000 of this keyword, you can simply go target them all. And if you can target them 1,000 of this keyword, you are kind of already pick out the low hanging fruit in a very easy way already. But making sure the keyword have to be in opportunity zone, because low ON title, low search volume actually are very good for very short term and good planning. And it also, if you invest it in long enough, it actually also really good for your long term planning as well, right? Because any of this keyword at some point in future could turn down into a mature zone keyword, and you don't know. You may earn out of that a bunch of 1,000 keywords. You may find 100 keywords that will give you consistently 5,000 to 10,000 search a month. That would be great, right? And finally, Candyland. So Candyland essentially is what Golden Filter has always been about. That is to find keyword that is high in demand and low in supply. So low in competition, but very high in demand. These are the keywords that are great for almost any planning, right? They are ideal keyword. If you find this keyword, target them right away. If you're new, you can target them. If you are already established, you can also target them. They fit with almost any planning. So you see, your keyword research are now no longer looking simply for some good and easy keyword to rank, but you can actually break them down into different zoning and fit this zone into certain part of your content strategy over a long period of time. You know, you don't have to right away go into Candyland zone. You can start with opportunity zone, right? And then slowly build you into Candyland zone. And once you have some certain traffic, you build your confidence, you start having more of your traffic, you go into mature zone, right? And so slowly you kind of build this in the circle, up and down, up and down, up and down. And at some point, you will be able to rank a bunch of different keywords that you never thought you would on a topic that you don't even think that you would ever try to rank for. So using a zone, a Zen Matrix like this will help you tremendously in your keyword sort of mapping, right? And this is the second step. When I talk about keyword research, this is what I'm talking about, because our tool already did the hard part for you. We already did this. We already get to you all the data. You just need to filter it out, put in your sweet little list, and kind of save it into different timing or phrase, whatever it is of your strategy, right? So do this, right? Use Zen Matrix, any way that it helps you, and build it with confidence. Because by the time you reach this phase, you are already filled. I'm very confident with this plan, right? So this is what we want to give you, confidence in building an SEO content strategy. It's a long road, and when you talk about SEO, you talk about 6 to 8 months of doing things that unknown, right? And having a good plan will really bring you very far in the sense of knowing that you are going in the right direction. So do this, right? All right, let's see what next. So how do you can apply Zen Matrix into use case? So for example, now that let's go into actual use case of this. All right, step by step quickly. So let's say nutrition plan. So what I usually would suggest you do, the first is you go into nutrition plan and you do research on your main topic, which is nutrition plan. Go to Keyword Explorer, nutrition plan, right? Go in there. Already sort out everything. You have golden filter. Oh, I thought I did. Okay, give it a second. Okay, so golden score already appear. So the first thing is what I tend to do is I just do golden score by potential value. I save it 1.618. I got 1,800 keyword applied. So I sort of have this all the list of the keyword in this filter. Now I'm gonna break them down to different zone. Like I said, once you get into a list of H, right, you want to save all this list accordingly first. So let's say I save this to a list. Select list. Main topic, nutrition plan. Now I have a list. Second thing, I go into the next subtopic that I want to build. Let's say nutrition plan for diabetic meal plan. All right, I'm gonna go into Keyword Explorer. Search for this keyword. 17,000, 18,000 searches. Let's see how many words that show. So we got 740 words. Do the same thing. Golden filter. Oh, it's not measuring yet. Give a second. Oh, 1,300. Sorry, we crawl into database. One confirm. We'll measure golden filter. Do exactly the same. Filter out all the keywords. Let's say I'm new. I want to write every single subtopic, but I want to write them all in opportunity zone. Then you simply just kind of use your use the filter to sort of look for all of the keywords that have low title and low search volume, and you go into those and just filter either using our filter and save them in your list. And you repeat this process throughout all of the subtopic that you already built out. Then you will have a map that looks like this. That nutrition plan on top, and then you have the first subtopic, second subtopic, third subtopic, and below this would be all the keyword lists that you already sort out accordingly to your planning. Keyword for subtopic 1, keyword for nutrition plan, keyword for subtopic 2, keyword for subtopic 3, keyword for subtopic 4, keyword for subtopic 5. So then you have main topic, keyword for that main topic. You have subtopic 1, keyword for subtopic 1, subtopic 2, keyword subtopic 2, subtopic 3, keyword subtopic 2. Now your mapping looks even clearer because you not only cover what Google wants and how you can present yourself as an expert, you are also able to see what the demand, what are the keywords are in the demand of your users are, right? So once you're done with this, the next step is to figure out the article list. Oh my gosh, it's already 1 hour. Should I break this into 2 sessions or should I continue? This is because we still have quite a way to go all the way until we finish. So I think I will I will finish the research part this session, and then maybe we'll do another one next week to finish the whole session. I didn't realize how long it will take, and it's already 1 hour. So I think it's best for us to break this into 2 sessions. And so let's go to article list. So article list is actually a lot simple. It's quite simple. Essentially, article list is when you have this list, and you have all the keyword lists that you have in your mapping, and you import them into our keyword import tool, right? And once you have all the keyword and keyword import tool, you cluster them, right? And the way we do, like I already explained so many times, right? The mechanism. This is what actually I think we differentiate from a lot of other tools. We try to explain to all of our users the mechanism behind everything we do, because that's the only way for you to utilize the tool. Otherwise, what's the point, right? If you just see numbers, you see things, and you don't understand why we do what we do, you're not going to be able to utilize them in a level in which it will really truly help you, right? And so anyway, go back to the mechanism part. So mechanism of cluster is that this. We will look, for example, we have a list of keywords like this. What we do is that we actually go into each of these keywords and we look for data of the top 10. So we look for all of the top 10 of this keyword, and then we look for all the top 10, the subs of all these 10 keywords, and then we look top 10 of this keyword. We look top 10 of every single keyword that presented. And then we look for similarities in all these keywords. Let's say our logic is, if the first keyword have 3 positions in their top 10, and the keyword number 10 also have this same website in their top 10, it means that Google thinks these 2 keywords represent very similar idea And if this keyword go together in one article, very likely you will be able to rank for both because it will appear on the search engine. It's very simple. The logic is very simple, right? We look for similarities in the end result of every keyword. The first keyword have, let's say, abc.com, xaz.com, xyk.com, and the keyword number 5 and keyword number 7 and keyword number 10 also have that exact 3 keywords, 3 websites in their SERPs overview. They should be together, right? Because that's what Google determined. Google determined already for us that those keywords carry exactly similar meaning and exact same search intent. So that's why they return the same sort of result. Just group them together. And so that is the point of cluster. So when you group all these keywords together, you have a list of articles, right? Oops, what do I have? Do I have a testing base here? Yeah. Okay, we have a list of articles, right? And something kind of look like this. Of course, if you do with more keywords, you will have more articles. But essentially, these are all the group of articles. Garden seat with wheels, for example, you have 6 keywords. These all 6 keywords, you see? Garden chair with wheel, garden wagon with seat, garden bench with wheels, garden seat with wheels, garden wheel seat, garden stool with wheels. All of these keywords actually similar, all same similar meanings. So you group this together, you write an article called garden seat with wheels, you know, and you will have an article that cover all the 6 keywords that you need. So 1002 keywords doesn't look so long anymore, because it may come down to only around 300 different articles you have to write. But if you cover all these 300 articles, you have 1,200 keywords to that have high potential in ranking, right? And that is when you do article structure, right? Coming back to the slide, article structure. I think we have some slide. Oh man. Here, article structure, determine what need to be written and when, right? You have a list of keywords, you group them together, you have a list of articles. And so what you have now, you have the first on the top, after you do topic research, is you have your pillar content, you have subtopic content, and then you have all the keyword below each subtopic and your pillar, and then you have all the articles that deriving from all those keywords. Then you have a list of articles to write. So by this period, you are done with the first session research, right? And this should take you this should take you a good 2 days maybe. I mean, if I really focus, I probably do it in 1 day. This is quite fast, right? You just kind of click, and then you determine, you draw it out on your paper, you think about it for a day, you sleep over it, and then the next day you sort of have an idea, and that's it. You have the whole mapping. So your content strategy are now condensed into 2 days. What generally would take you about 2, 3, 4 weeks of planning, and you're not even sure if you do it right. We kind of helped you to reduce them down into only 2 days work with just a few clicks. You don't need to understand anything else, what data, what number, whatever. Don't focus so much onto that. Write well, right? And that's the second part. Write well on this article. Optimize exactly like how Google wants, and then and how your users would read. And if you do that 2 things right, I am very sure and certain that you will find yourself in a very sort of nice, easy place of doing SEO. You can continue to keep doing this with all other strategy too, and you can do it. You can basically kind of just churn them out so fast. Oh, I need a SEO content strategy for this topic. All right, give me 2 days. Bam, you have a list, and you have a mapping, you have a strategy, you have everything kind of ready for you. So that's our goal. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today of the whole part, which was research. We'll go into in depth of the execution part, which is the last two tool we have. With content creation, content creator, and plagiarism checker. I will take some questions now, if you have any questions, in the next sort of half an hour. and then we'll continue the second session next week. I want to devote sort of like the whole full 1 hour on the writing bit, because it's quite complicated. But do it right. It's very simple, just like what I share with you, right? I want to show a little more in depth with Google NLP too. So because I know a lot of people don't really quite get what Google NLP is, why it's so freaking important, and whatnot. So very sorry I can't really continue because we have this 1 hour mark. And also I really like to go more in detail. I want an hour for the execution part, right? So so I will take questions now for the first part, which is research, and the execution. I'll see you guys next week, okay? All of these are recorded. I will talk to my team to sort of reduce these slides down into some of the key sort of downloadable resources. So you don't have to go through, see all the details here and there. You just need to get the important bit. We'll share that also as well. So you get all that. Okay? All right. Thank you for listening in. I mean, really appreciate you guys on this. Does this strategy work the same for local service business? Yes. The problem with Rather Zen right now, one of the things in which, because our focus isn't on local keyword strategy. So when you do this, that's why we create keyword importer. So if you find a keyword research tool, and that helps you to do keyword research on local business, right? Like CD that you the keyword that actually go into your CD on your local stuff, you do keyword research there first, right? And once you get that sorted out, you import your keyword into our keyword importer, and you still can do everything you want to do exactly as it is, right? So it works exactly the same way. Google bots does the same things, you know. They have a very clear standard of what it means of a good expert, right? And they will keep on doing that. If you are a local business, you have to show you are expert in local market, right? You have to know everything that your customer looking for, but you also have to know what it is that Google wants you to write about, right? So and also another thing, we will package all this workflow into our in our tool very soon in our next update, because we are sort of like rebuilding our customer success work, and everything that we everything that I said here will actually be recorded, break into 5 different steps, exactly this, in a series of videos that will be intact into our tool as well, so you can access almost any time, and we break them down to each step very clearly, so that once you get in, you will actually just go into each step and you can refer to it and start practicing it. All right. Simon Lee asks, how about e-commerce SEO? E-commerce SEO very depends on what you. So for example, if you're looking for, so generally SEO is to gain organic traffic, and the organic traffic are what kind of will convert the traffic into paying customer, right? And so you should treat the role of any website as a lead generation, right? Because you know that there's a funnel, right? You have top of the funnel is where customer just kind of get in. You want to cover all of the knowledge bases. And if let's say you sell, let's take nutrition plan. You sell a meal plan for people who are athletes, right? So the first thing you may want to look for is you kind of segment all the articles regarding knowledge about that, right? What are the good, let's say I could probably write an article, what nutrition plan or what diet plan that work best for athlete, right? And so you kind of write an article about that, and then you are what kind of nutrition does athlete need, right? And those are all knowledgeable, sort of top the funnel kind of things. And if the users search for that keyword and they see you, and that's the impression of the brand. And then you go into the middle of the funnel is where people are considering. And so you will have a bunch of keywords that actually cover the consideration phase as well, right? And the consideration phase would be like, where should I buy a good meal plan for athlete, right? Something like that, something in a consideration phase. I'm asking because I have the intent to buy, right? You start having that intent and you cover that basis. And then they also see you, right? And after they see you on those kind of keywords, you go into that final, which is transactional keyword, right? Which meal plans work best and how to buy it, for example, right? And then you are right there, and they go in there, they start searching in your site, they see that, wow, this guy covered everything in meal plan. He really know about meal plan. He really know about everything about athlete and all the topic regarding it. The content here is great. I trust this guy. I like him. I'm going to buy it from you. So you can do a faster way where you just focus on transactional keyword, but it usually doesn't work very well for the long game. And with SEO, I would prefer playing it the long game, because the growth is like this, right? You slowly kind of get your growth up, not pew, because if you don't do this, may as well run ads, right? So always think in the long term when it comes to SEO. But once you hit your jackpot is where you cover so many keywords that you start to just get organic traffic automatically. Okay, next question. I should do keyword research for subtopic from topic discovery. I should save those keywords based on Untitled. Am I correct? You should, yes, you should do keyword research for your subtopic that you found from topic discovery. Draw it out in a map, and then you start to filter those keywords based on your strategy. For example, if you are new, you will want to focus on opportunity keyword, for example. All the keyword that is low on title and low search volume, you start to kind of group them together in the keyword, and you say, hey, you know what? I'm very new to this. I want to focus on all the very easy keyword first, right? I'm just gonna kind of focus on those keywords. So you save those keywords in, and then you start using cluster to develop your article list, and then you start execute. All right. Hey Daniel, thanks. We love this session. Is there any plan for local state level keyword suggestion plan? Because search intent also depends on location. Do you have planner? Yeah. So that is what we are not offering yet. It might be something we may do in future, maybe next year, because right now we really focus on the AI writing part, right? And once that rolled out, we'd like to surprise you guys. It's pretty sweet. It's really very sweet. I love it. We will probably be considering local SEO as an option when it comes to maybe next year, 2022. Be a very cool project to work on. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. We just need to do some sort of like any other product will be built. We'd like to go into it with the right intent. We can't just throw things in, right? It doesn't work for us. Can you do a video on over-the-shoulder topic and keyword research, please? Maybe done by a newbie? Over-the-shoulder topic. I'm not sure if I'm clear on that one. I'm gonna move up. Isn't it supposed to start at 7 and 9 a.m. ET? Seems like, it started at 8 a.m. Eastern. Actually, sorry, I'll start make a mistake. But all these sessions are recorded, so you will be able to find all this soon. Big thanks for session update on AI writing tool. Please, it's coming. It's coming. And the moment the moment we are done, you will understand why it took us so long, right? And trust me, you know Zen, you know us, right? We don't deliver things that is under deliver, right? We don't under deliver things. Anything we present to you since the beginning of our inception are always things that are very high quality, and trust us on this, right? It will be good. It will be good. You are going to fast forward who are new to the tool. Like I said, we will actually be having very clear sort of videos showing you exactly what you can do with the workflow. Soon integrate directly into the tool. So once you open the tool, you will be able to see A-step breakdown into small video bits, and you can watch a video and practice on the tool as you go as well. So probably give us about maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks on that. We are working on it pretty hard. All right, can you suggest the best AI writing tools? Well, why don't you wait for Zen? It's coming. If you are main keyword plus C, you already get the same result local, right? And then build the same way you explain it. I think you also can do that. But the issue is, at the moment, we are only taking the database of Google database from the location of the whole country, right? So the keyword present may not be as accurate as tool that very highly focus on keyword database that actually from the local in which you work. For example, if you do New York City, right? We don't have New York City, but you have US. So if you look for keyword database from US, you're not gonna get very focused keyword that only present in the area of New York keyword. Is AI writing coming this year? This year. What will be the next update? Let us surprise you. Let's surprise you. I like to surprise all our users. We've been doing that. The main keyword. Okay, so far those are the questions. So hopefully we're aiming. We're hoping that the next update will be before Christmas. Not sure we'll be able to do that, but we're trying our best to kind of push that in. If not, it will be somewhere in January. But it will be a very big, very big update. Very big update. Yeah, that's the reason why we've been kind of quiet. But to use this tool for local. Wow, a lot of people asking for local SEO, huh? We will, like I said earlier, we'll try to work it out. Maybe sometimes once we're done with our plan for at least Q2 2022. I did try that already and was positively surprised with many local intent searches, but I understand the difference. Yeah, well, I mean, Zen will still give you a bunch of very good keywords. I just, I for the best of your intent, I would suggest that maybe you can find some a tool that very strong on local first, and use that, and then use our tool for other kind of purpose. Yeah, I was thinking going for Jarvis, Simon Lee. Okay, I mean, you give us some time. It's coming. When will be the next update? Great to. Be great. When will be the next update? It will, like I said, hopefully end of the year or January. That'll be our timeline. Okay, cool. I think I'm very sorry that we couldn't cover the whole 2 sessions at once. But I think we have gone pretty good on our knowledge basis. And I think it's good for everyone to kind of work it out. I will do another session next Saturday, if that's okay with everyone. I'd like to kind of just finish this in 2 sessions, and then we can kind of bridge them up together. So this next Saturday, same hours. I think that would probably work best. I think next Saturday, when I'm presenting, that'll be next Saturday. Any more details we'll send onto Facebook group and in via email for you guys, right? But I'm very much foresee that next Saturday we'll do that. Is it possible to show search intent inside rather than keyword matrix? We might be working on that. We might be working on that next year. It'll be something cool, because I mean those are some of the things in which we consider as vertical optimization, right? So right now we have to fulfill our calling. In fact, that we want to realize our original plan is to have rather than from A to Z. You start with topic research, you go with keyword research, you get into writing part, and then you have this little AI SEO assistant to assist you writing blogs that churn out things really quickly, fast, efficiently, yet it's still very SEO optimized, and that is our goal. And we want to finish that mission first before we go into any more little vertical optimization, and that will be next year. Search intent search, yes. Cool. Thank you, Barbara. Looking forward next Saturday. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending our webinar and listening in to me. I look forward to share with you on the second bit of our way of our knowledge sharing this coming Saturday. All right, thank you very much. All of the content in which I shared today, we will sort it out and then probably give you as knowledge as downloadable resources very soon. All right, thank you very much. All the videos will be up on YouTube and Facebook. Okay. All right, thank you everyone. Wish you a great weekend. God bless. Bye bye.